Howard Wakefield arrives at New York's Grand Central Station and boards a train. He's a successful lawyer who works long hours. Suddenly the train comes to a halt and the lights go out. The passengers begin to worry. Exhausted, Howard ignores a call from home. That night immediately struck him as strange. In spring, no one expects a power outage. The passengers are forced off the train. Howard walks home through the dark, empty streets, pondering the meaning of life. He's grown tired of the daily routine, which feels like a never-ending cycle. Howard's family lives in the suburbs. Suddenly spotting a raccoon slipping into the garage, he chases after it, leading him up to the attic. The man shoos away the bold animal but doesn't rush to leave. Through the window, he watches his wife Diana and their 2 daughters, who have just finished dinner. Worried by her husband's delay, Diana calls him but he doesn't answer. Just before his trip, Howard and his wife had an argument caused by jealousy. She had been flirting with another man. After 15 years of marriage, their relationship had hit a crisis. Diana was tired of his constant control. In the present, angry that Howard still hasn't come home, she throws his dinner in the trash. Seeing this, Howard wonders what reason he has to go back now. He decides to spend the night in the garage attic. Morning comes. Howard wakes with a strange feeling. Stepping into the yard, he quickly relieves himself. He's completely baffled by the situation he has created. Diana will probably think he spent the night with a mistress, even though in all their years of marriage, he's never given her any reason to doubt him. Howard feels it would be absolutely absurd to explain to his own family why he spent the night in the garage. After some hesitation, he retrieves his dinner from the trash, deciding not to go inside until Diana leaves for work. Through the window, Howard watches the children leave for school, almost missing the bus. He knows Diana will call his office first thing to see if he showed up. Seeing Diana's anger turn into concern amuses Howard. She becomes even more unsettled when she notices his car is still in the garage. For Howard, this is becoming more and more interesting. After a few phone calls to friends, it's only a matter of time before Diana, the assistant curator at the district museum, heads off to work. Howard catches himself thinking he's spent most of their marriage just waiting for his wife to leave for work. But it stops being funny when he sees a police car parked outside their home. Clearly distressed, Diana tells the 2 officers about her husband's strange disappearance. Howard grabs a pair of binoculars to see every detail. He relishes the thought that his wife wants him back. He can't help laughing when he hears the departing officers discussing his disappearance. In their view, he simply got tired of family life and decided to take a break. Diana doesn't go to work after all. Washing dishes, she breaks down in tears, which stirs conflicting emotions in Howard. As if on cue, Babs, Diana's mother, arrives and starts winding her up even more. Howard is genuinely irritated by his mother-in-law, who surely believes he's just abandoned his family. But Diana likely doesn't believe that, otherwise Howard would have emptied all their accounts. Right now Howard finds himself thinking how nice it would be to have a sniper rifle. Babs might stay as long as she likes. Eventually Diana heads off to work. Seizing the moment, Howard quickly grabs some food from the fridge, washes up and changes clothes, stung by the fact that her museum was more important than him. Maybe that desperate call to the police was only meant to save face? Howard is about to leave a note in their bedroom when he suddenly realizes that Diana may have decided their marriage was a mistake. He makes sure there's no trace of him left in the house and takes a bit of everything essential. Over and over, Howard questions what is so sacred about marriage and family that people live it day by day. As a final gesture, Howard grabs a bottle of good wine from their supplies, fully determined to hit pause on his life. He returns to the attic, creating at least a minimal level of comfort there. That evening, he watches through the binoculars as guests gather at the house. Everyone is there to support Diana, who is losing her mind with worry. Among the guests is Ben Jacobs, a lawyer. Howard's briefcase contains very important documents, but he couldn't care less, unlike Ben. Howard doesn't expect that news of his disappearance is already being reported on television. He could make a dramatic return right now, but he isn't in a hurry. He enjoys watching how everyone reacts to his absence. Unable to hold back her emotions, Diana steps outside and cries. Ben follows her, but suddenly pulls out his phone to take an important call. This makes Howard laugh. In distress, Diana goes back inside the house. Howard takes pleasure in watching his wife suffer. However, he has to pay the price for his game. He's literally eating garbage to survive. Lately the arguments in their house had become more frequent, and at some point Howard simply snapped. Now he's thinking about disappearing for good, but how? He has little cash, and using his credit card would immediately give him away. Howard doesn't want anyone to think he had planned his disappearance in advance. Diana misses her husband and doesn't know what to think. Surely if Howard had seriously planned to leave his wife and children, he would have left a note, taken his car from the garage, and driven off somewhere in Manhattan. But he will do things his own way. The things that once seemed important to him no longer matter. Howard no longer needs a clean shirt, credit cards, or phones. He won't board a train or take anything from the house again. From now on, Howard will live like an exile, invisible to everyone. Maybe that's what freedom is. The man is convinced that everyone has thought about this at least once. Strangely, he now sees his children more than ever. Even if Howard has abandoned his family, he can still keep an eye on them. At night as usual, he rummages through nearby dumpsters in search of food. He's willing to fight other homeless people over a decent find. Overall, Howard continues living in the attic of his garage and has even set up a rudimentary sleeping space. Does he miss comfort? Unlikely. No TV, no problems. In the house next door, Dr. Sundervan, a well-known pediatrician, often has patients staying for several months. When other neighbors signed a petition against this, Howard supported Sundervan, which gave him a sense of moral superiority over Diana, who had opposed it. After all, no one really knows what goes on behind closed doors. Howard watches with interest as Diana now tries to manage all the household duties on her own. He used to handle all the bills, property taxes and mortgage payments. For Diana, none of that had ever existed. Howard finds a new source of entertainment when Ben Jacobs comes over to their house. Diana offers him coffee, but Howard knows Ben doesn't drink it with milk because he's lactose intolerant. Apparently Ben is asking Diana to sign some paperwork to have her husband declared missing. Seeing Ben place his hand over Diana's, Howard can't contain his indignation. Still, Diana makes it very clear she's not interested. Howard rejoices, certain that Ben has never been anything but a loser. Back when Diana was taking dance classes, she was also dating Dirk Morrison. He and Howard had known each other before Diana came into the picture. They were once business partners. Dirk was known for always wanting to be better than everyone else. For some reason this sparked Howard's interest in Diana. At first she refused to go out with him, but Howard eventually won her over. Dirk found out fairly quickly. Howard didn't want a confrontation and tried to settle things peacefully, telling Dirk that Diana was unhappy with him. But that was a lie. Diana was torn between them and couldn't make up her mind. So Howard decided to play dirty and told Dirk that Diana had confessed her love to him. Howard knew Dirk would do something foolish, but that only worked in his favor. In the end Dirk hit him, and Diana stayed with Howard. Everything went exactly as he had planned. A year after the wedding, Howard began to wonder whether he would have wanted to be with Diana if she hadn't been his friend's girlfriend. But it was too late. Diana was already pregnant and soon gave birth to twin girls. Howard seemed happy. He had everything, a family, a home, a job. But there were moments when Howard thought about how the things we love most can be taken from us at any moment. If Howard had left his wife in the conventional sense, if they had divorced, no one would blame her for eventually finding someone new. But by disappearing so strangely, he had placed her in limbo, making her unavailable to others. Howard has already grown used to eating out of dumpsters. Sometimes he finds surprisingly interesting things and can't understand why anyone would throw them away. In today's world where everything is so accessible, people have stopped valuing things. One day Howard is awakened by the sound of their daughters arguing. They've decided to climb into the garage attic to check it out. But at some point one of them scares the other, and they run off screaming, goofing around, never even noticing their father. Now Howard blames himself for locking himself into a rut of monotony for so many years. Week after week, he realizes that Diana can no longer afford to take the girls on their traditional vacation. Their income isn't what it used to be. Howard now wonders when the members of his own family became his adversaries. His wife and children had never truly appreciated him. Despite everything, Diana is still planning to go on vacation, and Howard knows she'll come up to the attic to gather things. He hurriedly removes all traces of his presence. A prisoner, that's what Howard has turned himself into. At night, the man goes into the woods and takes a deep breath of fresh air. Then he bathes in a lake and lies down to sleep right on the grass, but the mosquitoes ruin his rest. Unable to bear it, Howard runs away, swatting at the insects as he goes. At one point he trips and falls. Dawn breaks. Looking like a homeless man, Howard wanders the streets. Hiding near his house, he watches his wife and daughters load suitcases into the car before driving off. Howard is no longer afraid to walk the streets in broad daylight. No one recognizes him anyway. In a dumpster, he finds a financial weekly with Dirk Morrison on the front page. Despite everything, the man still considers Dirk a loser. Suddenly a woman and a child approach Howard and hand him a bit of money. He uses it to buy some fast food. Every time Howard imagines Diana stumbling across him and reacting in horror, he can't help but laugh. In truth, the man didn't abandon his family, he abandoned himself. He walked away into the wild, completely detaching from society. Normally Howard enjoys the change of seasons, but not this time. It's getting cold, and he doesn't even have proper shoes. When he decides to steal some warm clothes, it leads to a scuffle with a married couple. In the end, grabbing a pair of boots, Howard runs off as the furious man and woman chase him. The lawyer manages to escape and hides in a storage room at Dr. Sundervan's house. He is discovered by two teenagers with disabilities, Emily and Herbert. Howard begs them to keep his presence a secret. The next day Howard wonders whether the teens might tell Dr. Sundervan about the homeless man in the storeroom. If that happens and someone else sees him, he plans to leave and live in the forest. From then on, Herbert and Emily begin visiting Howard, even bringing him food. When you've been alone for so long, you forget how to talk to people. Howard knows it would be better if they stopped coming, otherwise he'll have to leave. Again he asks them to keep his secret. The most reasonable thing would be to leave for good. Howard feels utterly stuck. Soon Diana and the girls return. Sometimes the man misses the good moments they used to share. But that life is behind him now. Unexpectedly Diana starts dancing again. It seems she is slowly adapting to life without Howard, partially making peace with the loss. Wakefield is no longer part of his family or his former life, he is only a bystander. With his disappearance, his family hasn't become more miserable. Maybe the opposite is true. Now Diana buys cheaper cuts of meat, she's saving money. And what if she decides to sell the house? How far is Howard willing to go? He has no idea how he'd explain everything to his family if he decided to return. Anyone would say Howard has lost his mind. But in reality he's found something greater than what most people on earth ever possess. The daily routine that made up Howard's old life was a prison. That's why he ran. Diana and the girls decide to spend Thanksgiving at Bab's house, which means Howard won't be getting any table scraps. But it doesn't matter, there's plenty to go around in the neighbor's trash. It's getting colder in the attic. What will he do when it snows? The cold keeps Howard from sleeping. In the morning he starts to feel sick. Then he lies on the floor, covered in scraps of old fabric. A raccoon sneaks into the attic and shamelessly feasts on leftovers while Howard lies weak and exhausted. He's sick and needs his wife's care now more than ever. The next morning, Emily and Herbert bring Howard medicine and a hot meal. He thanks them sincerely. The teens even give him warm clothes. They do it from the heart, expecting nothing in return, just as it should be. He imagines Diana seeing him for the first time in all this time, and not recognizing him, mistaking him for just another vagrant. The very thought leaves Howard stunned. How could she look into his eyes and see nothing? But the biggest blow comes when Diana and the girls start clearing out all of his belongings from the house. Have they really decided to erase him completely from their lives? To them, Howard no longer exists, and that realization terrifies him more than anything. Howard is no longer a family man, no longer a lawyer, no longer a husband. Now he loves Diana more than ever, but perhaps she no longer loves him. The man realizes that if he comes back, he'll lose her forever. That makes him a coward. Howard senses that Diana has already begun seeking affection elsewhere, even if she hasn't brought any men home, at least not until recently. On Christmas Eve, Diana steps out of her car with a bouquet of red roses, looking quite pleased. Then she and the girls prepare a festive dinner. Who are they expecting? Judging by the expensive car, the man is wealthy and successful. From the window, Howard sees only his back, but he keeps watching. When Howard realizes that Diana's new lover is Dirk Morrison, it breaks him completely. Have old feelings between Diana and Dirk reignited? Howard knows there's no place for him in his own home anymore. But he can't just stand by and watch another man take Diana from him. Howard goes to a store to buy clothes. Then he visits a barbershop where they trim his hair and beard. Now the man almost looks like he used to. For the first time in all this time he gets into his car, now coated with a layer of dust. Howard heads toward New York, amazed that he hasn't forgotten how to drive. It feels strange, following the rules again. The endless buildings, the streams of identical people and cars fill Howard with conflicting emotions. He still has the keys to his office. Wakefield puts on his expensive suit and watch, takes out his phone, and looks at his reflection, preparing to appear before Diana. Near the house he sees a raccoon. That's where it all began. Howard imagines how happy his wife and children will be to see him alive and well. Or maybe they'll be terrified. There's only one way to find out: walk through the door.